imprisoned by the power of gold. With one kind touch you set me free. Let the world stop turning, let the sun stop burning. Let them tell me love's not worth going through. If it all falls apart, I will know deep in my heart the only dream that mattered had come true. In this life I was loved by you. For every mountain I've climbed, every raging river crossed, you were the treasure that I longed to find. Without your love I would be lost. Let the world stop turning, let the sun stop burning. Let them tell me love's not worth going through. If it all falls apart, I will know deep in my heart the only dream that mattered had come true. In this life I was loved by you. I know that I won't live forever, but forever I'll be loving you. Let the world stop turning, let the sun stop burning. Let them tell me love's not worth going through. If it all falls apart, I will know deep in my heart the only dream that mattered had come true. In this life I was loved by you. In this life I was loved by you.
Good morning, yesterday. You wake up and time has slipped away, and suddenly it's hard to find the memories you left behind. Remember, do you remember the laughter and the tears, the shadows of misty yesteryears, the good times and the bad you've seen, and all the others in between? Remember, do you remember the times of your life?
Do you remember?
Reach back for the joy and the sorrow, put them away in your mind, for memories are time that you borrow. seasons are passing one by one. So gather moments while you may, collect the dreams you dreamed today. Remember, will you remember the times of your life? While you may, collect the dreams you dreamed today. Remember, will you remember the times of your life? Of your life, of your times of your life. Do you remember, baby? Do you remember the times of your
life? There are places I remember all my life. Though some have changed, some forever, not for better, and some have gone, and some remain. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I love them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you, and these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never ever lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more.
62 for a moment, and she feels better than ever, and we're on fire, making our way back from Mars. 15, there's still time for you, time to buy and time to lose. 15, there's never a wish better than this, when you only got 100 years to live. To live, half time goes by, suddenly you're wise, another blink of an eye. 67 is gone, the sun is getting high, we're moving on. I'm 99 for a moment, I'm dying for just another moment, and I'm just dreaming, counting the ways to where you are. 15, there's still time for you. 22, I feel her too. 33, you're on your way. Every day's a new day. Got 100 years to live.
Hey, yes, sir. How are you, Mark? This is my wife, Beck. Let's get him out of my The alpacas. I have an alpaca farm.
Yeah, so that had to be the mid-70s. In fact, I think I'm just
Who is this character? How are you, John?
no, it's George.
Okay, you're being in the road. You have to cut quick.
That's the Rotunda at UVA, and that's almost unheard of. I mean, nobody gets in the Rotunda.
George Beck Award, Outstanding Brother Award, and George Beck. I
was about 4, so maybe 57.
See some ocean, see some fish. It was like a whole new, it was a whole new world.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Social media, I don't
I know the ones that you don't.
Been a few years, Mike. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Pleasure. How you doing? Good, great. You? That's what I heard. You're in.
I have executive parachute for that, and I think you got executive parachute.
Who knows?
I mean, I'm with you on the nicest restaurants. And John Spaghetti. Like, you got your done, I'm sure they'll Sean, this is okay, great.
Good afternoon. My name is Stanley Klunder. I'm past president of Pi Lambda Phi fraternity and former president of the Educational Foundation. I'm going to guide us through our event today, but to begin, I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Harold Klein, chaplain to the Corps of Cadets at the United States Military Academy at West Point, but most importantly, the son-in-law of George and Barry Beck, who will lead us in an invocation. Colonel?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you will, I invite you to pray with me if you so choose. Almighty God, we come today to celebrate a blessing. Whether we are family, members of Pi Lam, Omega Alpha, or knew George Beck from some other venue, we all appreciated him. He was good to us, and he was good for us. We loved and respected him. Grant that we might express our collective thanks in a manner worthy of the contributions that he made to each of our lives, and in doing so, honor you for sharing George Beck with us. In your almighty name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Colonel. On behalf of Barry Beck, George's children, Tony and Diana, his extended family, and the brothers of Pi Lam, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this very special day. 2 months ago, we gathered in Florida to mourn George's passing. Today, we gather to celebrate his life, to remember how much he meant to us as a friend, neighbor, fraternity brother, uncle, grandfather, father, and husband. Barry wanted to hold this event as George's family, fraternity brothers, neighbors, friends in the Pittsburgh area could have the opportunity to gather together and share some of their thoughts and feelings for him. Knowing it was a daunting task, Pi Lam brothers stepped in, formed a committee, and got to work. There are certain traditions that are observed when a brother of note passes into what Pi Lam calls our chapter eternal. The president of the fraternity declares a period of mourning, where all fraternity pins are draped with a black band across the letters, and notification is sent out to all chapters and alumni. There are 2 extra steps that have been approved for George. At our annual convention held this August in Philadelphia, all delegates and alumni will gather to participate in our mourning ritual. This is a solemn rite, usually held at the chapter when a brother passes to honor and remember him. The second honor is a vote by our governing council to include the name of George A. Beck on our memorial board as the 44th person so honored since the founding of our fraternity in 1895. This recognizes the unique contribution George had made to our fraternity among the tens of thousands of initiated men. Not only as a dedicated and loyal fraternity brother, but the impact he has made to the good and welfare of Pi Lambda Phi. I also know that you will hear from our Educational Foundation and George's chapter at the University of Virginia about their plans to honor George today. We would like to recognize and thank the members of the committee, Jeff Bueller, Ian Lowe, David Temple, Steve Cole, Andy Galbert, Gary Sanders, Vin Marbury, Ezra Krieg, Mark Allen, Howard Hella, Laura Petrucco, the fraternity's financial administrator, for their time and dedication to today's program. A special thanks to Devin Basili of the fraternity professional staff and Gary Sanders, Educational Foundation trustee, and Steve Cole for their work on the video. And a big thank you to the Executive Director of Pi Lambda Phi, Ian Cole, for today's arrangements. Gathered today are George's fraternity brothers, many of whom have known George their entire adult lives. They are holders of our most prestigious awards for service to their fraternity, of recognition of special achievement in their lives as well. We call them members of the Big Pi chapter, honorable brother, council key holders, alumni achieve award winners, or members of chapters who have won the George A. Beck Outstanding Chapter Award, which this year will be given at convention for the 25th time. There are also alumni association and house corporation officers and members and chapter advisors. Joining the group are current and past members of the Pi Lambda Phi Educational Foundation, where George served as a trustee for a time, as well as those who work with George on his professional staff. All of these Pi Lambs and the thousands of brothers George knew throughout his time will tell you a story about George, will tell you how he affected their lives. And many will say that if it was not for George, they may not have achieved what they have achieved except for him. That is why we gather today, not to mourn George, but to celebrate his life. What we will do today is allow time to have as many people speak as possible, considering we will have a reception at the end of the program. I ask that people please keep their remarks as short as possible. We have a fraternity list of speakers, and of course, George's friends and family are open to speak whenever they can. To begin, I'm going to introduce the President of the International Executive Council, holder of the Council Key, Jeff Bueller, for some remarks. Jeff?
Thank you, Stan. I first just want to say thank you on behalf of the Pi Lambda Phi International Executive Council, on behalf of our thousands of undergraduates, on behalf of the tens of thousands of alumni. I want to say thank you, Barry, for sharing your George, for all these decades, allowing him to come play fraternity with us at 50 or 60 straight, international leadership conventions. Just thank you for allowing him to continue making that investment in our lives. When you think about our great fraternity and the journey that each of us have taken, whether we joined in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, even more recently than that, there's a couple of pillars that we learn in our fraternity that means different things at different times in our life. Things like not 4 years, but a lifetime. Live the creed that all men are created free and equal. And one of the unique things about being able to celebrate George, the man that he is to our fraternity, is when you think about live the creed, not 4 years, but a lifetime, that all men are created free and equal. There are thousands of men around the world that think about George first when they hear that. And it's interesting as you reflect back on George's impact on our great fraternity, it's expected, still noble, but expected, the people that he spent the most time with, many represented here, some that couldn't be here, obviously, that he would have a profound impact on them around living the creed and around not 4 years, but a lifetime. But what is even more amazing is the thousands of students, members of our fraternity, that met George once in their life. When they were an officer in their chapter in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or last summer and met George, probably with little doers in his hand, and got a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of wisdom, a lot of humor in understanding the impact that one interaction at a convention has made on their life and their journey of what not 4 years but a lifetime will mean to them, living the creed, and that all men are created free and equal. So Barry, thank you for sharing your George.
Thank you, Jeff. Now I'd like to introduce Paul Kaufman, past president of our fraternity and holder of the council key. Paul?
Thank you. I'm just going to share a couple of stories about George, one a long time ago and one not too long ago. But first I want to say it was really a pleasure and an honor to spend time with George's family last night and this morning. It was really good. Some people that I've known and I haven't seen in a while, and others that I met for the first time. So it was really great. I really appreciate that and enjoyed it. The first story I'm going to tell goes back to 1972, I think. And I was at Franklin and Marshall. Our chapter had dwindled to 5 brothers. And the summer before, I had gone out to UMass to the convention, and I was told in no uncertain terms that this is it. You guys got to take a nice pledge class, or else that's it. We're closing you down. So we go back, and fortunately, we were able to take, I think it was 14 people in the